Well, welcome everyone. Another Wednesday Lunch and Learn. To be honest, this is one I've been looking forward to ever since last week when we announced that we were going to talk about nutritional supplements as a whole. I've been really interested in getting this information out to everyone, making sure everyone understands what nutritional supplements are, what they aren't, what they do, what they don't do, what the science is behind them, whether or not they work or don't work. I will prepare everyone on the front end. This one's going to be a little bit longer than normal. This is a big topic, obviously, and we're going to cover it in completion. So, just going to be a little bit longer than normal. But the idea behind what we're going to talk about today is all about nutritional supplements. So let's jump right in real quick. The first thing that we have to do is we have to understand what a dietary supplement is, or what a nutritional supplement is. The FDA defines dietary supplement as a product intended for ingestion that contains a dietary ingredient intended to add you can read it yourself. It is what it is, but the idea behind it is it's something to supplement the diet. That's the idea behind it. It's something to supplement gaps caused in the choice of diet that we choose on a daily basis. When I say we choose, each one of us has an individual diet. I'm not talking about whether or not you're choosing a particular type of diet. I'm talking about what we eat on a daily basis is our diet. So this is intended to supplement that. But unfortunately, this is the reaction that most people are getting when they talk about dietary supplements. And dietary supplements can include anything from pre and post workout type formulas to protein formulas to just general vitamins and minerals. It's that skepticism, and part of that is attributable to this type of belief system that all it is a bunch of pills, potions, and lotions that you put in your body, that you fill it up, that you don't get really any benefit from. And in fact, there's all kinds of articles and newspaper ads and all kinds of news reports about vitamins finding to have no ingredients that were actually supposed to be in them, that multivitamins don't work, etc., etc. So, what are the biggest complaints? What are the biggest objections that you find when you're talking about nutritional supplements? Well, you can really boil them down to four. And these four cover the far-reaching gamut of what the objections generally all revolve around. The first objection that you hear a lot is multivitamins don't work. That's the first objection that you hear about nutritional supplements. The second objection is all supplements are the same. Doesn't matter if I buy it at Walmart or if I buy it at GNC or Vitamin Shop or I buy it online or I buy it in a doctor's office. All of them are created the same, all created in the same place. They just have a different label on them so they can charge me more. That's another objection. The third objection is there's no science to support the need for supplements. This I hear quite often, as I travel around the country and I talk to different groups and different organizations and different doctors and nutritionists and dietitians. I hear all kinds of different things, but this is one I hear a lot, that there's just no science to support the need for it. And then, of course, the one I probably hear the most from well-educated professionals is you can get all your nutrition from food alone. That's the one objection I probably hear the most of all. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to address each one of these objections individually. We're going to jump in and we're going to actually talk about what the real response is to each one of these. So let's start with the first one. Multivitamins don't work. Well, first you have to understand something. You have to understand that there are over 3 billion letters that make up the human DNA sequence. And now we're talking about genetics. So why would I be talking about genetics if I'm talking about a multivitamin? Well, you have to look a little bit deeper, because what you find is that when you actually use the reference human, okay, and there actually is a human that, geneticists use, and they have this wonderful, the reference human genome. And what they say is when you use the reference human and you test everyone against it, what you find is on average there's 4.1 to 5 million variations each individual has to that reference human. So what that ultimately means when you actually look, all the way down to the nitty-gritty is, you could have triplets that, all come from the same place, the same time, from the same parents. The reality is, while they may be 99.5% the same, that 0.5% makes a huge difference. Now, why would I go through genes? Why would I go through genetics? Why would I show you that there's 4.1 to 5 million variations in each individual's genetic sequence when I'm talking about a multivitamin? Well, because a multivitamin is basically defined as something that was created to basically fit into everybody the same way, to have the same effect on each person. I mean, it is literally something that is created that says, hey, this is a one size fits all. This is something that every human being on the planet needs. Well, what's interesting is when you look at the variations of humans out there, and this is a picture from the 75th anniversary of the Guinness Book of World Records with the world's smallest man at 1'7". I did say 1'7", a total of 19 inches tall, versus the tallest man in the world at 8'3" tall. When you look at these two, you obviously see the difference, but there's no way that one multivitamin can meet the needs of both of them. It's not logical. I mean, you just can't even think that. So the reality is one size does not fit all. When you actually look at a scientific method, when you actually dig into the science, one size simply cannot fit everyone. In fact, if you take it to the next level, when you really want to, dispel this multivitamin concept, what you really need to do is look at pharmaceuticals. Because see, a pharmaceutical, a compound manufactured for use as a medical drug, we know what they are. We're very familiar with them. We've all taken them at some point in our life for a particular reason. And every time we have an issue, a disease, or a condition, we get a different type of pharmaceutical specifically designed for that particular situation. But what's interesting to me is we have people that believe in multivitamins, but if you use the term multiceutical, so imagine a single pharmaceutical manufactured for use as a medical drug for all conditions and diseases. So it doesn't matter if you presented with a cold, or you presented with heart disease, or you presented with diabetes. Well, there's one pill that you can take, and it basically takes care of all your ills and ails, no matter what it is. And it doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter how tall you are, how much you weigh, whether or not you're a man or a woman. This one drug's going to take care of everything. If you tried to sell that to anybody, they would put you in a straitjacket. Because there's no such thing as a multiceutical. But for some reason, we believe in multivitamins. It's just, the first objection that you hear, multivitamins don't work, the reality is, they probably are right. In fact, medicine is now headed to something called precision medicine. Medicine has now even identified the fact that, hey, even a pharmaceutical designed for a specific condition isn't good enough. Because each one of us is individually designed. Each one of us has a unique need. And while we may all have a particular type of disease, heart disease, diabetes, you name it, each one of us is going to get a benefit from a pharmaceutical in a different way, so we may need compounding specific to our genetic makeup. That's where medicine's headed. This is 5 to 10 years away from being commonplace. I mean, the idea of having a single pharmaceutical to address all issues is soon going to be a thing of the past. But yet we still have these multivitamins. But when you look at the science, the reality is there's been multiple studies done, including those by the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force and the National Institutes of Health, and all of them come to the same conclusion. There is no evidence that a multivitamin enhances health or well-being. There's just none. So that first objection that you hear all the time, that multivitamins don't work, there's a reason why people say that. There actually is science to support the position that they've taken that multivitamins don't work. And in fact, if you ever get a chance to talk to an anesthesiologist that does surgeries, ask them about the x-rays of the stomach before somebody goes in for surgery, and they'll tell you the stories about these little pill bricks that are going through the gut system that aren't being absorbed. So not only do they, there's no science to support that they're effective, but you also have these issues with regard to whether or not the body can even absorb them. So, be very conscious when you hear the word multivitamin or one size fits all, because the reality is that objection actually has some merit. So let's talk about this one. All supplements are the same. Everything's created equal. It doesn't matter if I buy it at Walmart or Target or GNC or Vitamin Shop or online or in my doctor's office. It doesn't matter, because they're all created in the same lab in the same place with just a different label. So let's jump into that. The answer to that is absolutely not. And the reason why is quite simple. See, you have certain nutrients, certain supplements that are made with artificial ingredients, others not. You have others that are using artificial fillers. If you knew this or didn't know this, when you get a capsule, a pill, and it doesn't matter if it's pharmaceutical or nutraceutical, there's always some space left because there's not, that to get the amount of the ingredient or the milligram or the dosage, it doesn't fill the entire pill. So they have what they call a filler. A lot of companies will use an artificial filler to basically fill the space. Other companies use what we call bioactive fillers. Bioactive fillers are things that the body can actually get a benefit from. That's the higher grade of nutraceutical and pharmaceutical. So you need to know that there is a difference there. Quality control measures. What are the measures that are in place of the manufacturing process for that particular nutraceutical? These vary widely. You can have everything down to the base manufacturing requirements under the FDA to people that are basically breaking the rules and not following the quality control measures, to other companies that actually take the base quality control measures and up the game a little bit and manufacture everything at a pharmaceutical grade, which means you have to follow a lot higher standard and quality standard. These are things that differentiate supplements and make them not equal. Then you have to look at the purity and efficacy of the ingredients. Is that even being tested? Is that something that the company even cares about? Or is it just simply, hey, here's our profile, here's our formula, get the ingredients from anywhere. We don't care about purity and efficacy. We just want to be able to say this is in the product. Some companies actually take the time to test the purity and efficacy of the ingredients that they use against prior lots to make sure that it is as good or better than the prior lot. This is an extreme important issue that you need to make sure that you understand. Sourcing of the ingredients. Where are the sources coming from? Is it from China? Is it from other parts of the world? Is it, non-GMO? Is it contaminant free? Where is the source of the ingredient? It's a very important question that you need to make sure you understand because, again, not all supplements are created equal, especially when you're talking about formulations and ingredients. All right, current good manufacturing process. When you're actually going through the manufacturing process, is the company that you are dealing with, is the company that you're looking to buy a supplement from following good manufacturing practices? Is this something that they care about? Is this something that they actually tout? Is this something that you can actually verify that they do? It's an important differentiator when you're talking about nutritional supplements. What's the quality of the manufacturing labs used to make the product? A lot of nutraceutical companies don't self-manufacture. They contract manufacture. And even those ones that do self-manufacture, what's the quality of the manufacturing lab used? What kind of process do they utilize? Are they using a food process or supplement process, a pharmaceutical process? There's all kinds of different things out there. And then, of course, is the lab certified by the FDA? Does it have any, other types of certifications? Is it something that is being inspected on a regular basis? These are things that you need to know because this is another differentiator. And then, of course, the biggest issue out there right now that we're finding in this space is, are the products contaminated or adulterated with any ingredients? Now, what I mean by contaminated is easy. Are there any pesticides? Are there any contaminants? Are there any type of other issues that should not be in the formula that are found in it? Adulterated, there's actually supplements out there that are being found to be laced with pharmaceutical ingredients. So there actually are supplement companies out there that have been accused of trying to enhance the outcomes that people are getting through their dietary supplement or nutritional supplement by putting pharmaceutical drugs in there to give people the outcome or the effect that the marketing team has decided that they want to make for that particular nutraceutical. You need to make sure that the company that you're dealing with actually test to make sure that there are no contaminants or adulterated ingredients before you buy them. You want to make sure that that's an issue. So are all supplements created equal? Absolutely not. In fact, as a result, this leaves people really confused because, when you look at all of those variables, it's like, okay, there's a shelf. There's all these things available. What do I choose? How do I know what I need? How do I know any of these answers? Well, at ID Life, we've actually taken care of that issue for people. It's part of the reason why we do what we do. We have the world's first truly customized vitamin platform, delivering you what you need and blocking what you don't. But the whole concept behind what we do at ID Life addresses each one of these measures, addresses each one of these variables. See, so artificial ingredients, No, we don't use any artificial ingredients at ID Life. That's kind of what we call our customized difference. Artificial fillers, absolutely not. We don't use it. We use a bioactive filler, something the body recognizes: curcumin, green tea extract, broccoli extract. All these things that the body actually knows what to do with and can get a benefit from. Quality control measures, unmatched in the industry. I mean, we actually have a video touting our quality control measures and everything that we do in quality control, and our adherence to those quality control measures, and the fact that we make our manufacturers adhere to those quality control measures. We're very proud of those. Purity and efficacy of ingredients, we test every raw ingredient. We make sure that that raw ingredient meets or exceeds the prior raw ingredient's efficacy and purity. It's part of the process. It's part of what we're doing. It's part of what we ensure to make sure that you're getting the quality ingredient that you're paying for. The sourcing of ingredients, we source only from the highest possible source, wherever that is. But we also adhere to a non-GMO policy, hormone-free, casein-free, gluten-free. We want to make sure that the ingredients that we're using are the best you can find in the world. Good manufacturing process, all the manufacturers that we use, and of course quality of manufacturing labs, all of the ones that we work with, all of the labs are following CGMP. All of them are quality manufactured labs. On the nutraceutical side, on the ID Nutrition side, they're either a 101 or 201 certified lab by the FDA. They're inspected on a regular basis to make sure that they're following CGMP and higher standard quality issues. And on top of that, we also test every single thing at least 3 times. So the contaminated and adulterated ingredients doesn't happen at ID Life, because not only do you test raw material, you also test the finished good, and then when it lands on our dock after we get the certificate of analysis approving it, we test it a 3rd time just to verify that there's no contaminants or adulterated ingredients anywhere in the process. So as a result, the ID Life difference is we take care of all those issues. So can you say that all supplements are created equal? Absolutely not. I couldn't even begin to tell you that they are, because so many companies just bypass all of the things that we just talked about and just go directly to the shelf. And let's be honest, they get away with it. We just have a different approach here. Our families use these products, our kids use these products. We're going to make sure that you're only getting the highest quality ingredients available, and that's just our commitment to you and to the field. But the reality is it's customized to you with everything you need and nothing that you don't. That's our main commitment to you. We're going to make sure that we stay abreast of the science, we stay abreast of the manufacturing processes that are at the top of the game, as well as the ingredients, with a commitment to make a change if necessary to make the product even better. So that's just who we are and what we do. So it absolutely is asinine to say that all supplements are created the same, that you can get the same thing from Walmart that you can from the doctor's office, that you can from ID Life. Let's address this next issue, this next objection. There is no science to support the need for supplements. Now, this one, you can hear from medical professionals. You can hear it from all kinds of, well-educated people. And this is typically where this comes from, is well-educated people that basically say there is no science to support the need for supplements. Well, let's jump in. The National Institute of Health, if this is a government organization, if you knew this or not, actually has an Office of Dietary Supplements. In fact, they provide this website for consumers so that they can understand dietary supplements, the need for them. They can review the research. They can actually look at the frequently asked questions. They can determine if they have a certain condition, whether or not there actually is a dietary supplement that has been linked to providing some type of benefit for that condition. All of this is available to the general public and all published by the National Institutes of Health. Now, if you look at the FAQs, and you can actually see the FAQ is right here on the sheet, right here, you can actually get some interesting information. See, the FAQs provide you some insight into what the National Institute of Health believes about nutritional supplements. So the first question is, how do I know if I need dietary supplements? And the part in blue basically outlines that. Some supplements may help ensure that you get adequate amounts of essential nutrients or help promote optimal health and performance if you do not consume a variety of foods. So right here, what they're basically saying is, if you don't have a diverse diet, if you are not getting all of your food in the way that you should, you are going to have nutritional gaps. And what the supplements are intended to do is supplement the gaps caused by your current diet. The other two questions that I found in their FAQs that I found interesting, that's the same statement for both of them, is how can I get more information about a particular dietary supplement, such as whether it is safe and effective, and where can I find information about the use of dietary supplements for a particular health condition or disease? The National Institute of Health says the same thing. Scientific evidence supporting the benefits of some dietary supplements, as an example, vitamins and minerals, is well established for certain health conditions. So here the National Institute of Health is saying that scientific evidence supporting the benefits of vitamins and minerals is well established. So to say that there is no science to support it, the National Institute of Health actually disagrees on their own FAQ page. But let's look at other independent studies that have been done. Here's some of the recent ones, and I just wanted to give you a list based upon what we found very quickly in a search. The first one, vitamin intervention could save 1 million lives annually. Micronutrients could help, could fight hidden hunger. Some of the others that you see in here, like the New England Journal of Medicine, what vitamins should I be taking, doctor? And then, of course, you have the Nutrition Journal addressing nutritional gaps with multivitamin mineral supplements. And then, of course, the Journal on Human Nutrition, nutrient intake among U.S. adults with disabilities. I mean, they're endless. But the one study that's probably the most pivotal, one of the ones that was done over a long period of time that probably came out with the most scientific reasoned outcome, is this one. The title of the article was the nutritional supplementation. Was titled Nutritional Supplementation, is it necessary for everybody? That was the actual question they were asking. Are nutritional supplements necessary for everyone? They wanted to attack this, and if you actually look at the part in blue, you'll find something very interesting. They found, these two research scientists, both from the National Center of Biotechnology Information and the U.S. National Library of Medicine, it says, today, an adequate supply of nutrients is often unattainable solely through a well-balanced diet. So a targeted, individually designed dietary supplement regimen is necessary. Now, what's interesting is, we just talked about ID Life. We just talked about how we have a customized approach, individually designed to each person, with 1.7 million possible outcomes. It basically is saying, this scientific article is saying that because of the fact that we don't have a well-balanced diet anymore, a targeted, individually designed dietary supplement regimen is necessary. Now, the question, though, that was asked, is it necessary for everyone? And if you look at the very last sentence in this abstract, it says, therefore, it appears that nutritional supplements are advisable for everyone. What these scientists found was that due to our current American diet and the way that we eat on a regular basis, it is advisable for every person in America to be on some form of nutritional supplement because there are nutritional gaps found everywhere. This is science, folks. So to say that there is no science to support it is absolutely crazy. There is. It's there. I mean, it's on PubMed. You can go read it yourself. This article is one of the most powerful ones that we've been able to find that is actually specific to what it is that we do here at ID Life. And in fact, if you actually look at the assessment that we have, there's over 10,000 independent third-party peer-reviewed studies that are embedded within the program. Over 10,000 of them. So science is exhaustive on the issue of a individualized, targeted approach to nutraceutics. If you have a system that is looking at what your family history is, at what your diet and lifestyle choices are, what your medications are, what your over-the-counter medications are, and what your diseases and symptomology are, if you have that approach and you have the science to back it up, then there is actually science out there to recommend certain things. And that's what ID Nutrition is. It's all based upon the scientific recommendation. So, there is a misconception that there is no science to support nutritional supplementation. So let's talk about this one. I told you this is probably the one that I personally get the most. I hear all the time. Mainly, I hear this a lot in the nutritionist and dietitian portions of the world. People that are really focused on food and focused on what we consume on a regular basis in our diet. But what I hear is, you can get all your nutrients from food alone. So let's jump into this topic. The Great American Vitamin Deficiency. So this is from the World Health Organization, a well-recognized and reputable organization, and this is what we look like currently in America. There's a 95% deficiency in potassium, 80% deficiency in vitamin E, 75% deficiency in vitamin D, 70% deficiency in calcium, and 50% deficiency in vitamin A, vitamin C, and magnesium. In other words, the average person walking around right now on the American streets, anywhere in America, has vitamin deficiencies of some type somewhere. In other words, they have nutritional gaps. And this is from the World Health Organization. It just is a reality of what it is. And what is the leading cause of these vitamin deficiencies? Well, it is diet and lifestyle. Those are the two greatest contributors to the reason why these deficiencies exist. I mean, we have them as a result of diet and lifestyle choices that we're making on a regular basis. The reality is, when you talk to people that believe that you can get all of your nutrition from food alone, the belief system that they have is this is what the American diet looks like on a daily basis. Unfortunately, this may have been true in the 1940s and 1950s, but today it is a vastly different dinner plate. In fact, most people don't even use the silverware, the napkin, or the plate anymore, as we will show you in just a second. But the unfortunate part is, this is what people believe when they say you can get it from food alone. We are going to go down a different street, because there's the idealist of the world that believe that, you can get it from food alone. And then there's the realist. And what I mean by that is I'm not saying that it's impossible to get all your nutrients from food alone. It absolutely is possible. It's just not realistic. And what we have to do as people in the health and wellness space is we have to help people where they are. We have to understand that we can't be idealistic. We can't live in this bubble world that says, hey, everyone's going to do exactly what I tell them to do, because the facts and figures we're about to go through show that we have to be more realistic. We have to give them something that's going to get them through from currently where they are to ideally getting them where we want them to be. But we can't start out with the idealistic idea that we can get all of our nutrients from food alone. Let's look at the American food supply. The American food supply, unfortunately, is, let's just say, it's abysmal. What is available to us to eat is in some respects, almost criminal. Why do I say that? Well, it used to be, if you look at the food supply chain, and this is what it goes through, it used to be, you got your food directly from a ranch or a farm, directly to your plate, and that's how you consumed it. I know I'm talking, 50, 60, 70 years ago, but the idea behind it is it used to get your meat from a rancher and your vegetables from a farmer, and that's how you consume them. Today, we changed that. Now it goes from the ranches and farms to the feedlots and the storage sites, from there to the slaughterhouses and the mills, from there to the processing plants, the packaging operations, the warehouse, to the shipping, to the wholesaler, to the importer, to the restaurants and stores that we ultimately buy it from. And there's a lot of hand-holding of the product along these ways, and there's a lot of adulteration of the product along the way, and there's a lot of enhancements done to the product along the way, and. I mean, it's never ending. So no longer is the day that we have our beef from the rancher and our vegetables from the farmer. Now there's a lot of in-between that we have to be concerned about. So let's start with this one. There are currently at least 10 foods in America that we eat on a regular basis that are banned in other countries. Anywhere from flame retardant drinks to farm-raised salmon to GMO papayas to, you name it. And of course the big one is milk and dairy with RBGH. And if you don't know what RBGH is, you probably should, because, that's the hormones that we keep giving all of our cows and everything else that are causing the issues that we have. When I say about issues that we have, I mean we literally 90% of Americans have RBGH in their systems, according to some scientific studies that have been done and that they've been looking at this. We add hormones to our cows. I mean, most people don't even appreciate or understand that the number one consumer of antibiotics in this country are cattle. That's where we use antibiotics because it helps beef them up, helps them get bigger. In fact, you could do a little research on your own and see some cows that, through the hormones and the antibiotics, I mean, it's insane what we're doing in this country and what we allow. Then, of course, we also have genetically modified organisms. Now what we have is super fruits. We have, super pumpkins that are bigger than houses. We have new series of vegetables and fruits that are coming out all the time that are concoctions and mixtures of other things. And now, I've even seen some stuff where we are going to start having blends where, the product is going to look like a fruit on the outside, but it'd be a vegetable on the inside. I mean, it's insane what we're doing, especially when we don't even know what the long-term residual effect of these genetically modified organisms are going to do to the human body. This is something else that is contributing to the issues that we currently have in America, and we have to be very cognizant of. One of the other issues that we have is this. You saw on there one of the things that we allow here that we don't allow in other countries is, the farm-raised salmon. If you've never taken the time to understand the difference, here is a picture of farmed salmon versus wild salmon. You cannot tell me that they are the same fish. There's obviously a huge difference between the two. It is crazy when you actually understand and appreciate the difference between them and the value that comes with them. But I mean, this is the difference. I mean, right here, visually, they say 80% of people are visual. Here you go. Next time you go and you go to that fish place and you order the farm raised salmon, know that that's what you're getting. You're not getting the wild caught that you think you're ordering. There was a big study done at the University of Texas back in 1999 where they looked at the food supply. Now, why would I be showing you a study, that's 18 years old? Well, this was a pivotal study to show what kind of soil depletion and ingredient and macronutrient depletion was occurring between 1950 and 1999, basically over that 50-year period. Now, I think we can all agree that since 1999, things have probably gotten a lot worse, not a lot better. We now have genetically modified organisms. We have all kinds of other things that are going on with soil depletion. But the reality is, in that time period, in that 50-year time period, they found mass amounts of depletion of nutrients in protein, calcium, phosphorus, iron, riboflavin, and vitamin C in our food supply in that 50-year period. Imagine what it looks like today. In fact, if you look at the stuff from the Department of Agriculture, what you see on the parts per million as far as mineral depletion in our soil, we've almost taken it to zero. It's crazy to me what we've allowed to happen, but you can literally see what has happened over, the last 100 years. I mean, the value of our soil, the richness of our soil when it comes to minerals in the soil are gone. They're not there anymore. So what does this mean to us? What this means is, had you eaten a tomato in 1940, it had one nutritional value. Today, to get that same value, you're going to have to eat more than 12 of them to get the same amount. This is just not something we're going to do. I mean, to say that you can get all of your nutrients from food alone is crazy. And the sad part about it is, if you're using any one of these systems or anything else, or you're trying to determine the value of the food that you're eating, and you're really watching your macronutrient counts and everything else to make sure that you're getting enough, calcium and magnesium and other vitamins and essential vitamins and minerals. Unfortunately, a lot of those numbers and a lot of those systems are based upon the value of the food in 1940. Not the value of the food today. Not many of those systems have been updated with the current value of the food. So, you very well may be under the misconception that you are getting everything that you need based upon information that is a bit outdated and antiquated. You need to understand what's happening and why it is impossible to get all of your nutrients from food alone. So the American diet, does it really look like this? I mean, is this reality? Or is this optimism? Is this idealistic? The reality of the American diet looks more like this. Fast food is served in 50 million Americans per day. That's 1/6 of Americans eat fast food every day. 1/6. The average American consumes 54 gallons of soda per year, more than a gallon a week. That's our average. Okay. McDonald's serves 75 hamburgers every second. 75 hamburgers a second. The average American spends $1,200 a year on fast food. So roughly about $100 a month, we're spending on fast food. 20% of all American meals are consumed in a car. It's very difficult to get that balanced meal in a car. And kids aged 6 to 14 eat fast food 157 million times per month. These are children ages 6 to 14 that eat fast food 157 million times per month. There's no telling why 1/3 of our American youth, kids under the age of 18, are overweight. I want that to set in. While 74% of Americans are overweight, 1/3 of our children are overweight. And to put that into perspective, if you were born in the 1970s, 8% of the kids born during that time period were overweight. Today, 33%. Imagine what that's going to look like 20 years from now. What that means is 20 years from now, 95% of the population in the U.S. will be overweight. This is a contributor to that effect. And then 70% of Americans eat fast food 3 or more times per week. So that American dinner plate, is that realistic? Is that something that really is happening? Can you really get all of your nutrition from the food that you eat alone? Well, the reality is this is what the American diet looks like. In the next 72 hours, more than 90% of Americans will consume a meal that looks like this. This is realistic. This is something that we have to deal with. This is what we have to address. This is why we have the nutritional gaps that we do. This is why we have to supplement. So the idea is, it doesn't matter if God graced you with the body of a Ferrari or the body of a Pinto. In other words, if you won the genetic lottery and you have a high metabolism and you can eat whatever you want and you look fine, or whether or not, you just lost that genetic lottery and you got the body of a Pinto, and it doesn't matter, if you eat lettuce, you're going to gain weight and you have a very difficult time building muscle. It really doesn't matter what kind of engine you have. It really doesn't, because the idea behind it is the food choices we're making in this country. The junk food, we know what that's doing to us. But even when we choose the healthy food, with the nutritional value of the healthy food being so depleted with everything that we've done to it, we all have gaps. We all have a nutritional gap. So it doesn't matter if you're driving a Pinto or you're driving a Ferrari. There is a gap in your road, and it's a long drop. And if you're not filling that nutritional gap, you're headed to a crash. It may not be today. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be 5 years from now. But the idea is we all have these nutritional gaps that we have to fill because, we have to supplement to get there. We just don't have a choice. That just is where we are. Now, unfortunately, there are still companies out there that are saying we have a super pill. We have this wonderful supplement. Take this, do whatever you want, and get a different outcome. They don't exist. There is no super pill. There is no supplement that alone can fix your ills, ails, and everything else that you have going on with you. Remember, a supplement is defined, and this is from the 1994 Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act. A supplement is defined as something or a product that is intended to supplement the diet that bears or contains one of the following. In other words, this is something to supplement your diet. The idea behind a dietary supplement and a nutritional supplement is not something to replace. This is not something instead of. This is not called the dietary substitution. No, this is called a dietary supplement. This is going to fill the gaps that are caused by your own personal diet and lifestyle choices. That's the reality. So when you actually want to look at health, what does health actually look like? If I really want to live healthy, what does that mean? Well, what that means is you have 3 things that you have to look at. See, nutritional supplements is part of the top. I mean, it's what's up there. It's all of those macronutrients of vitamins and minerals that we need to make sure that we have in our body as part of the healthy living cycle. But the diet and the lifestyle that we're choosing are also major contributors to that effect. So there is no nutritional supplement that you can take and keep up with a bad diet and a bad lifestyle and get, some major benefit from. No, the whole idea behind what this is, the whole industry is about, is to give people the supplements necessary to help them get to the healthy living lifestyle, to actually understand that we need to modify our diet. We need to modify our lifestyles. We need to get active again. We need to learn that we need to eat real food. We need to avoid as much as possible those wonderful meals that come in the bags, boxes, jars, cans, especially through our car windows, as much as we can, while always remaining realistic that is part of the human diet. And it's not something we're necessarily going to change overnight. It's just not going to happen. So, we can have the idealistic approach, but the realism has to set in at some point. So the whole idea behind dietary supplements is this. It's going to supplement your diet. Now, the great thing about IDLife We also give you a free health report to show you the number of where you are. We even give you a health plan that's going to show you, hey, here's some diet and lifestyle choices that you can change that can improve your health and at the same time improve your score. But also the integrity and ethics behind the ID Life is that as you get healthier, you need less of what we have. Most companies are going to say, no, you're on this for life. No, at ID Life, what we say is, look, as you improve your health, as you improve your diet and lifestyle choices, as you start to move in the right direction on the bottom two components, you need less supplement, because the idea behind a supplement is to supplement holes caused by diet and lifestyle choices. As you fill the holes in your diet and lifestyle choices, you need less and less supplement. That's just reality. And if any company tells you anything different, you need to find out a little bit more about the company that you're dealing with.